Dive into the gritty world of infamous gang leaders, deeply immersed in crime and always on the run from the law. Now witness their struggle as they come to terms with the harsh reality of life in prison. Join us for an in-depth look at the top 5 reactions to gang leaders receiving life sentences. Number 5. George Thomas.
Gonna be brutally honest. I'm not saying I regret it because my whole life shaped the person that I am today. But what I know for a fact, if I could have changed some things, I wouldn't be here where I am now.
This is George Thomas, a notorious gang leader whose name evokes terror throughout South Africa. Unlike elusive criminals who operate discreetly, Thomas orchestrated 4 murders from within the confines of a prison cell, showcasing an alarming level of control and influence. With over 50 charges, encompassing offenses such as 7 murders, Thomas faced a life sentence for each, a fate shared by 6 of his gang associates. This landmark trial, spanning the years between 1999 and 2010, stood as a concerted effort to curb the pervasive gang activities, especially those attributed to the notorious 26s and 28s gangs. Thomas's influence transcended the prison walls, as evidenced by chilling attempts to eliminate witnesses and rivals. The courtroom, a tense arena where even the public gallery was cleared for witness safety, saw Thomas displaying an unsettling lack of remorse, often adorned with a disturbing smile throughout the proceedings. The narrative unfolds against a backdrop of over 150 charges, underscoring the intricate web of Thomas's extensive criminal activities and their profound impact on the state. This saga transcends a mere criminal trial. It embodies a determined endeavor to combat organized crime and dismantle the grip of gangs on South Africa, casting a shadow over the nation's struggle against a pervasive underworld that extends far beyond prison bars. Number 4. Lee Manuel Rios.
Count 1. Jury having convicted you of murder in the first degree, sir, I'm sentencing you to NCIC junction for the term of your life without the possibility of parole.
Lee Manuel Rios, convicted of first-degree murder in Massachusetts, faces a lifetime in prison without parole for killing 18-year-old Kenneth Lopez in March 2015. Despite the grim consequences, Rios, along with his accomplice Jonathan Javara, both members of the Latin Kings gang, showed no remorse in court. Rios persuaded Lopez to join him, claiming to resolve issues. During the fatal encounter, Rios shot Lopez 5 times, collecting Lopez's handgun afterward, arrested during a police raid. Rios faced additional charges, including possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, improper storage of a high-capacity firearm with a minor. The police discovered loaded guns, drugs, and related paraphernalia during the search. The court heard that Rios fired 5 shots, with 4 hitting Lopez, including 2 in the head. The lack of remorse from Rios and his gang associates underscore the gravity of the crime. The case paints a stark picture of a life-altering event, revealing the ruthless actions and consequences of those involved in the murder of Kenneth Lopez. Number 3. Lopez Carpio brothers. Every parent dreams of witnessing their child's growth and perhaps dancing at their wedding. Sadly, this dream was shattered for Kevin Oriana's parents. Kevin, an 18-year-old student at West Valley Occupational Center, was brutally stabbed multiple times in the head, neck, and torso by Anthony Carpio in late April 2013. The attack occurred on the handball courts at Cleveland High School in Reseda. Anthony and his brother Michael initiated the assault, with Michael starting the fight. In a shocking turn, Anthony escalated the conflict by introducing a knife, stabbing Kevin approximately 10 times. Both brothers, affiliated with the Rockwood Street Gang, fled the scene in a vehicle driven by Michelle Pineda. Witness testimonies revealed that the fight began after the brothers issued a gang challenge to Kevin, who was not a gang member. Michelle, the driver, was sentenced to 2 years in county jail for her involvement. Michael, 20 years old, faced charges of second-degree murder, resulting in a 15-year life sentence. In contrast, Anthony, the 18-year-old wielding the knife, received a 16-year life sentence for the same charges. During the court proceedings, Scott Marcus, the Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney, conveyed Kevin's family's emotional victim impact statement.
As a parent, we plan to dance at their wedding, celebrate a promotion, look forward to possible grandchildren. The last thought we would ever have is that we will have to plan their funeral.
If the 2 brothers felt any remorse, they concealed it well. As Judge Martin Herskovits delivered their sentence, their expressions remained devoid of emotion. Number 2. Abel Gallegos.
This is the result. This is where you will end up, with your family and friends crying as you're let out of the courtroom to serve the rest of your life in prison.
When 28-year-old Simon Duran identified Alonso Quintana in a police lineup during an attempted murder investigation, she unknowingly sealed her fate. Seeking revenge, Quintana, along with fellow gang members Abel Gallegos and Rene Rosales, lured her to a motel, kidnapped and brutally murdered her. Rosales and Gallegos, in a heinous act, poured gasoline on her lifeless body and set it on fire. Following a thorough investigation, the trio faced justice in court, where over 30 witnesses and overwhelming evidence led to swift convictions. Rosales, a repeat offender, received over 120 years in prison for various charges, including tampering with a deceased body, conspiracy to commit murder. Being an accessory to a crime and evidence tampering, Quintana, labeled a chronic criminal, was sentenced to life imprisonment.
This was a horrific crime. I am struck by the casualness in which it was committed, the absolute disregard for human life.
Abel Gallegos was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole and an additional 163 years for charges including kidnapping, retaliation against a witness, first-degree murder, and drug offenses. The judge, visibly shocked, expressed disbelief. Gallegos and his accomplices, however, showed no remorse during the sentencing, emphasizing the gravity of their heinous crimes and the severe legal consequences imposed by the court. Number 1 is Lisandro Posada Vasquez. Lisandro and his MS-13 gang buddies were charged with murdering Raymond Wood. They tricked the 17-year-old into selling them weed, then drove him to Bedford County from Lynchburg, where they brutally attacked him. They knocked him out, strangled him, stabbed him, and even cut off his right hand. Lisandro pleaded guilty to aggravated murder, abduction for money, and being part of the gang. He got life for murder and 10 more years for the gang stuff. 2 of his gang buddies got life, and the other 2 got decades in prison. Lisandro didn't show any remorse in court, even though he owned up to his actions early on. Share your thoughts on the gang leaders. What's your take on their actions and behavior in court? Join the discussion below.